Hello. All right, so you take your nearpod link and you open up your lesson. And here is our lesson on synthesizing and evaluating sources that we did on Tuesday, the 10th of November. All right, this is towards our research project. So the first thing we always start with is some sort of poll. I wanted to know how you're doing. It's okay that you're doing terribly. You can be honest. I wanted to know where you were in the unit, know that we are here today, right? We were on the synthesizing and citing sources on Tuesday. On Thursday, we will be doing the production lesson, and then the project is here. Now, the project is worth 100 points. The other lessons are worth 30 points each. One of the paths to passing the course is to do all of it, right? To do all of these 30-point assignments. The other path is to just master these projects and turn in a portfolio at the end. All right, so what does it mean to synthesize? This is what we need to do today, right? We're synthesizing and citing our sources. So synthesizing means to combine two or more parts to create a whole. So you're taking several sources of information that you're researching and putting them together to create a product, either a podcast or a paper. All right, there's another poll. You always want to participate in that. Maybe you haven't even started. Whatever's the truth, answer the poll. Okay, so making connections and then synthesizing research. To synthesize ideas, you need to review the relevant meaning it's actually important to what your topic is, research that you've gathered from credible sources. And credible just means you can trust it. It's not fake news, it's real. With the single goal in mind, to make connections. So more than just reporting what experts say, a thoughtful researcher makes connections and draws conclusions. There are three main types of connections you can make when you examine your research. You can do text to self, text to world, and text to text. Text to text connections are especially important to making your synthesis really strong. If you don't know how to look for relevant, credible sources, that was the last lesson, so you might want to go back and check out lesson 3.4. All right, activating schema questions that you can use. Go ahead and screenshot this if you want to use these while you're doing your research. But just ask yourself, what do I already know about this topic? Have I experienced anything similar to what I'm reading about? What is happening in the world that reminds me of what I'm reading about? How is what is happening in the world similar to what I'm reading about? Or how is what is happening in the world different from what I'm reading about? And then text-to-text questions are, what else have I read about this topic? Or how is what I read in another source similar to what I'm reading about in this source? Or how is what I've read in other sources different from what I'm reading about in this source? So there's some steps to synthesizing your sources. You read the first text and get a sense of the ideas that the author is trying to convey. Ideally, you write them down and take some notes on this. You can use a Google Doc or paper as you wish. And then you read the first text again. And for each paragraph or section of that text, you take notes and annotate to help you better understand it. Focus on important ideas related to the topic, details and evidence the author uses to support those ideas. And then you draw some kind of conclusion about those ideas and the information presented in the text. And then finally, you just repeat the same steps for each of your texts. Ideally, you have 2 to 4 sources on this paper. All right, then we're going to take a little quiz, see if you understood what you were just told, and I am answering these at random, so I didn't pay attention, so they're probably not the right answers. Oh, but I got it correct without even trying. Look at that. All right. Organizing your notes. There are lots of ways to do that. You can work on paper. You can work on the sources themselves if you've printed things out. You can use note cards if you have some, or you can use a Google Doc, which you all have access to. And so that's what I'm showing you. You always want to include the source of the content with your notes. So you see the URL there, right? So I put my research question and then the URL, and then this is from, this is direct cut and paste. Notice if you're going to use it, you have to actually paraphrase it. So I direct cut and paste it, and I'm going to annotate those so that I can keep track of my thinking. Because I don't actually care what information you find on the internet. I care what you think about it and what conclusions you draw from it. All right, so to speak about that, don't just cut and paste from the internet, because we must use these skills. We must paraphrase, summarize, and quote our sources. You've got to give credit where it's due. You can't be taking other people's ideas and pretending they're yours. That's just not cool. So to paraphrase means to express the meaning of someone else's words in your own words. What I heard you say was, to summarize means to restate the main ideas and the key details of a text clearly and concisely. So in 1 or 2 sentences to say what an entire article said. And to quote is to repeat or copy someone else's original words, but you must use quote marks for those, right? So you're showing that those are someone else's words that I copied straight off of some other source. It's okay to do it as long as you do it ethically. So to do something ethically means to do it just as an upstanding person, that's trustworthy. And when you're writing a research paper, it's really important to use sources ethically to avoid plagiarism. So plagiarism is that sin of copying someone else's work and using their ideas without giving credit. And if you're in college and you plagiarize, you get kicked out. So it's really not okay. It's unacceptable to intentionally or accidentally suggest that someone else's work is your own. That's why you must clearly cite sources in your research paper when you paraphrase, summarize, or directly quote. To determine the format for your academic citations, you can consult a style guide. It's a manual that establishes uniform standards for writing, formatting, and designing documents. So there are the MLA, Modern Language Association. That's the one we're going to use. It's for English class. There's also APA or Chicago style. Those you would learn probably in college. Each style guide includes information about how to do in-text citations and reference pages, which are 2 essential research paper elements. We're going to skip the in-text citations for this project and only work on the reference pages, and I'm going to teach you the super easy way to do that, okay? So Google is your friend here. You have 2 different Google Drives to work from. Pick which one you want to use. You have your MySBCHS account, and you have your nycstudents.net account, right? So both accounts have a Google Drive. Find that Google Drive, open it up, go to a Google Doc, and go to this arrow over here to find it to work from a template. Now, this will come up, and you want to pick the MLA report template. And then notice that in the works cited part, which all of this is Latin, it's just place fillers. Don't even worry about it. Don't touch it. Go over here to EasyBib. We're going to use this tool, EasyBib. You can't even believe how much easier this is than when I was your age. So you're looking on the internet, you find a source. This is called a URL. You want to copy that URL. If you're on a Mac like I am, you can copy by pressing Command-C and move it by pressing Command-V, okay? And so take it from one place and move to the other. So you just copy and paste that URL right here into EasyBib where it asks you to. Press the button, and what we'll come up with is a citation properly formatted the way that MLA wants it to be. And all you do is press that button to get it on your works cited page. Instantly, it will go from all the Latin to just your citation. Again, you need at least 2 to 4 citations of different sources for your research. All right, tell me that you know what plagiarism is. Tell me that you know what ethically means. Tell me if you know why you need to cite your sources. Know that I just answered those at random, so I got them all incorrect. And finally, in this lesson, we have synthesized some information and we've correctly cited it in our research paper, right? All we're doing this time is a works cited page. I'm not teaching you how to do the in-text citations. We'll have to do that at a later date. In English B, you will certainly learn it as it is a Regent skill on the argument essay. All right. Research papers and podcasts synthesize information from a variety of relevant, credible sources to draw conclusions about a topic. To synthesize, you make connections such as text to self, text to world, and text to text. How you organize meaningful connections is a matter of personal preference. Always include the sources of information with your notes. And format your works cited page using Google Docs template for MLA report and the EasyBib function. All right. Finally, you'll end with a poll of what you need to do and let me know, and then you will be done with that lesson. Good luck. Text me or call me with any questions.